you, or looking at the camera, looking at the lens?
You can do both, because I just do a very generic hello and then go, and I have no idea what I'm going to say, so we'll just wing it. So
amazing.
Right, so we're here with Vanessa Ruck, who is Girl on a Bike, according to, is that a YouTube moniker, or is it everything? Just a brand, isn't it?
All of my social media channels are under the Girl on a Bike, and it didn't start with motorbikes necessarily, and so my journey has been very strange to getting to here, and a lot of people think I've been riding since I was a teeny tot, and it's not the case at all. It all kind of happened by one of those side punches that life gives us. Like, I know a lot of us get really big struggles and battles through life, and mine happened in March 2014 when I got hit by a car while cycling. Yeah. And I wasn't an active motorcycle rider, but life changed like that in an instant when that car hit me. And I've since had a reconstructed right shoulder and right hip. Through my journey of 7 surgeries over 7 years, it was like a roller coaster of highs and lows, where lows I was bedbound, rehabilitating, highs were maybe getting a little bit more active, maybe getting to a point where I could ride a motorcycle, but the mental health recovery throughout was brutal, and I'm really honest about that. Change disorder, fear of the road, doesn't lend yourself to motorbikes, depression, and motorbikes have been an incredibly important part of my recovery, and I've got a lot of gratitude for that.
So before the accident, you were normal.
Normal?
You know, let's say it like
that.
that.
My family and friends would argue if I've ever been normal.
Would you?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was a kite surfer, wakeboarder, rock climber, mountain boarder. I was very active.
So all of those insecurities, none of that's all triggered by the accident and your internal...
Or the mental health side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say mentally I was normal.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
People that know me might question whether that's true, but yes.
But you're back to normal again now, kind of thing. But or is it an ongoing fight to...
I would say a lot of people look at me and think I'm an incredibly confident, capable, strong person that never doubts themselves and can conquer anything. No. I will put my hand straight in the air and say I get imposter syndrome. I will look at myself in the mirror and not like what I see. I will doubt myself. I have low days. I have lots of moments where my hip pain, which I live with chronic pain in my hip, will really hit me, and I have to work very hard to keep my mental health kind of stable, but I'm very accepting and aware of the fact that I'm human, and it's completely normal for our energies to have highs and lows, and I mean, just simple things like a bad night's sleep can completely change how your day is. Like, you get out of bed and stub your toe, you're in a bad mood for the rest of the day. No, with mindfulness you can catch it and go, you know what, just because that's happened, my next minute doesn't need to be the same. And the mindfulness is a really important one. I
feel like I should try that.
Don't stub your toe.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Right, let's try to see if it works. So you challenge yourself to things, and this rally business has been quite new, isn't it? It's only in the last 2 seasons, is it? That you've been having a go?
20 months ago, I did my first rally, which was a 3-day Baja in Qatar. I definitely jumped straight in the deep end. I don't necessarily recommend it. I did my first time in sand, first time doing road but navigation, which is a paper scroll, first time in the desert, and first time doing a rally, all at the same time in the Middle East. And it was a very, very difficult learning curve. It was quite a challenging rally as well. 44% of the bikes finished, and I did, which was I was proud of, but it ignited a completely new addiction and a new world of motorcycling. Riding off-road is very physical. You're fighting the terrain. I often say that on the road, you're in control. Off-road, you're not in control. You're constantly correcting it to stay in the direction you're intending to go. Simplifies it a bit, but you get the gist of like the terrain, the rocks, everything, the sand. The bike wants to lie down. It doesn't even stand up on its own. It's very physical. You then add the complexity of the navigation. You're following compass bearings, French abbreviations, symbols, and kilometers, whilst doing all of that in the desert. Peak riding temperature I've been in is 52 degrees. It is the most physically and mentally challenging thing I've ever done, and I think the reason I'm so addicted to it is when I'm doing that, there is no capacity for that pain. It's not escapism in a bad way, like I'm trying to escape my life, but it is just like a complete high, and you are so in the moment. When I get off the bike, it hits me like a freight train. But when I'm on it, I'm just alive and I'm racing.
Did you always work with Patsy on it? You know, Patsy Quick at Desert Rose?
So Patsy has been a huge support and an incredible role model for me. She's the first female to ever finish Dakar from Britain. And that first race I ever did in Qatar, I was right there alongside Patsy Quick, which is like a pinch me kind of thing. And she was there to help coach me, train me through this rally. She is a total badass. And her way of coaching me through my first rally, I thought we were going to properly do it as a team, right? Get to the start line, where I pretty much have a nervous breakdown with the fear of it all. And she's like, right, Vanessa, you're going to do the rally. I'll be behind you. And I'm like, what? It was great knowing that she was behind me, but I thought I was going to follow her a bit. Anyway, she put me straight in the deep end in an amazing way. And there's some of the stuff that she's taught me over the years, I still remember as I'm riding along. Like when I see someone else, I hear her voice going, oh, just another lost idiot in the desert, because you can never presume someone else knows where they are.
Yeah.
You got to go with your gut and your navigation. And the amount of times you'll get overtaken by a fast person and you'll be like, oh my goodness, I'm so slow. Ignore them. And then an hour later, they'll overtake you again because they got lost or something. Yeah, Patsy's been an incredible role model and support. And Desert Rose are the company I always use for my rally support. So they take my bikes out and spanner me. Set his alarm off. I knocked him.
Oh, well, this.
Yeah.
Do we give it a second?
Yeah, it will
Give it a second.
It's to stop people climbing on him during the
Yeah,
show. I just knocked
clever.
him a bit too hard. I
Yeah.
knew it was on there. Sorry.
Is
Thankfully,
it
I was at the end of the sentence.
It's a him then?
Yeah, it's a him.
Has he got a name?
There you go. Yeah, so this is Big Buddy. So my hard
Big Buddy.
enduro bike that I did Red Bull Romaniacs on is called Buddy, and I love the name.
Yeah.
It's a really emotional, like, come on, Buddy, we've got this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then I got him, and I'm like, I really like the name Buddy, and he is basically like a big buddy.
Yeah.
So he's Big Buddy. And the rally car that stood right next to me is Big Boy because he's freaking huge.
He's huge, yeah.
2.3 tons.
Yeah, yeah. So working with Patsy,
Yeah.
do you think, because in the TRF where we're coming from, we have a growing female membership.
Which is amazing.
It's
I love that you're
excellent,
doing
yeah.
that.
More power to them.
Yeah.
And is there, because I've done training with women in GS Trophy and stuff,
Yeah.
and I think there is a different way, a new way, if you like, or the way you approach things is a different one. You know, guys tend to be a bit like, yeah, I'll be all right, mate. You know, that kind of thing. Do you think you guys are more granular or more structured, or do you think you're exactly the same and I'm just talking out of my...
No, I don't think we're the same. I think stereotyping, so we're not all going to fit this.
No.
I'd say we generally have a slightly higher self-preservation.
Yeah.
Which means, you know, that going all ballsy.
Yeah.
Males tend to be a bit bigger, a bit stronger, and they can just go with it.
Yeah.
And as a girl, the size of me, I can't just muscle through stuff.
Yeah.
So I need to use a bit more technique to get through the same stuff.
Yeah.
And so simple things like on a big bike, a guy generally can just muscle it around and move it. I need to work with the bike's engine and suspension to move it, to take the weight off me, or use the side peg and pull away and then swing my leg on it. For me, actually, that's a massive way to reduce my hip pain. Because every time I'm trying to get on the bike and moving my leg over, that's exasperating my hip pain. Whereas if I go on the peg and swing my leg over, that's the difference of how far my leg needs to go up.
Yeah.
Little techniques like that massively help as a female. And I feel like as a female, I'm trying to think of an example that I had with my husband recently where he couldn't understand why. What was the example? It was an amazing example of the difference in the male and the female perspective of something. I don't know if I'm going to remember it right now, but when I then explained it from my side, it was like, holy shit, I've never thought of it like that. Oh, no, I know who it was. Okay, so it was with Charlie Borman at a Harley Davidson Pan America launch. And he was sat on the bike and loads of people were getting a picture sat on the bike with Charlie Borman. And I was like, everyone was like, Vanessa, you get a picture too. And I was like, I can't get that photo because I will just look like the blonde model sat on the back of the bike. And he was like, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, a guy sat on the back of the bike will still look like a biker. A girl sat on the bike doesn't look like a biker. You don't know how to ride. And he was like, all right then. And he scooted back and he sat on the back with me. And he then said that it would never have crossed my mind the reaction that you'd get putting that picture on social media versus a guy. And he was like, it makes complete sense.
Yeah.
You can ride.
Yeah. I tell you,
don't know if that was a rubbish story.
No,
it's good.
It's good. But no, it's fine. He'll do whatever he'll do, that fella.
Yeah.
But the other thing that I've been impressed with here is the number of women at this festival. And they're not just with husbands, are they? And even if they're with husbands, they got their own bikes. And for instance, you go to, say, Fantic stand.
Yeah.
When they went out, they were 50-50, the mix of men and women on the bikes. And not just the small bikes, you know, we're still on the Scrambler 500 rallies and stuff.
Yeah,
have you been impressed
massively
by what you've seen here? I mean, I have. But,
so last year, I managed to rally as many girls together to get a photo of us all outside Ragley Hall, and there were an impressive number of women. This year, I was determined we were going to do it again, and there were easily double the number of women. I've been standing here all weekend chatting to people, and I think I've spoken to 4 women all weekend who don't ride. The riders that are here are riders. And that's been an incredible thing to see, and I really hope by putting the photo out of all the women here, the women that aren't here will be like, you know what, there are women there, I can go and do it. And the women that don't ride will be like, wait, they're all riding and having fun, and my husband's doing it, why aren't I doing it, or my friends are doing it? And the more we normalise seeing women doing it, the more normal it will be and the more people will do it. That's really the hope, and just massively sending that message that we can do it too. And when you go to the really extreme stuff like the desert races I'm doing, I'm very often the only female or a very, very small handful of females. And I'm not going to try and pretend it's easy. It is hard. You're doing the exact same mileage, the exact same route, with the same weight bike, the same amount of kit on a smaller frame. Not necessarily equal going into it, but we can do it.
Yeah.
It's funny,
can do in rally, that's where parity comes in, because if you look at World Motocross and World Enduro, World Motocross do a shorter race, and so do World Enduro. They have one less lap.
Yeah, not in rally.
But in rally, everybody's on the same.
Yeah.
And do you have, for instance, a hero? Is it sort of Laya Sands or something like that? Have you met her? Or
no, I haven't. I haven't met Laya Sands. I've met a couple of the big females, and the honest reality, and it's going to sound really weird, is because I haven't been riding motorbikes for that long. I started off roading 7.5, 8 years ago. I've had 4 hip surgeries in that time. I haven't grown up watching people do everything, and so I'm actually really bad at knowing who everybody is. And yes, I've definitely got some names now, but it's not like I've watched them growing up and seen it. So it's really cool for me knowing that there are actually little girls watching what I'm doing, and there are little girls and big girls here. I've spoken to 60-year-olds who have gone, I saw you doing it and I've now got my license, and I'm just like, give me a hug.
I was going to say, because your audience will have a good percentage of women.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's always a good percentage of men because men are like that, but we're in it, and also 90% or 95% of riders are still men at the moment.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, isn't it? And that's all part of that inspiration and enabling, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what's your next thing? What's coming next for you?
So I've got some smaller stuff like the Bosnia Rally Raid, which I'm doing as a come ride with Vanessa, and I'll help teach you and coach you through doing your first rally. Yeah. But the big next thing I'm doing is with Big Buddy in January, the Africa Eco Race.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going
Which
big.
is every bit as tough as Dakar, because it's the original Dakar route, isn't it?
Yeah. And to me, the emotion and the heritage you think of when you say the word Dakar, that race is what it's about.
Yeah.
So I've already started having nightmares.
Yeah.
I've got to do a lot of fitness. It's 14 days, 6,500 kilometers.
Yep.
And my fight is going to be, don't die in the desert.
Yep.
Get to the finish line.
Yeah. It's one of those, I think, right up till you start. It's a bit like doing a TT. I guess my father used to do TT.
Yeah.
Right up till the moment the flag drops, you're going, why? And you know you want to do it, but you don't know.
Yeah.
But do you get that when you do the rally? The moment you leave the start, it all washes off and you go, hey, I'm doing it.
Yeah, yeah, the start line to me is horrific. I'm normally close to tears, just the nerves, I hate it. I've got a lot better now, because I think there's a lot of imposter syndrome, and when you're there in a really male environment and everyone's looking at you and everyone's doubting that you're capable.
Yeah.
And I've definitely proven myself a little bit. Like the last race I did in Morocco Desert Challenge, I came 25th.
Yeah.
Really proud of that.
Yeah.
With a 40% finish rate. So my nerves have got better, but I still get nervous. And then 4 minutes in, you're just there to race.
Exactly.
And you're not thinking about the finish line because you can't. It's like trying to eat an elephant. You're trying to think, make lunch, make the end of the day, make day 2. By the end of day 2, you're going, how can I do another 6 days of this? And then by day 6, you're like, I've only got 2 more days, and then it's, you're constantly just chipping it off bite by bite.
So I'm going to challenge David to an edit here.
Okay.
I'm going to backpedal a little bit to a question I should have asked earlier, but didn't. And that is, early days for you was a lot of trail riding. Are you in Wales somewhere? Or where are you
I am
based?
now. I was in Oxfordshire, but I'm now in South Wales.
And I have in my distant memory, which that's 2 days ago, by the way.
Yep.
Distant memory. I'm not very good with memory, but I seem to remember you sort of getting into it, learning, and trail riding essentially.
Yeah, it all started trail riding.
Yeah.
Just finding green roads and going out. And I'd done road stuff for a couple of years at this point. And I thought, you know, I didn't think I was a good rider, but I was comfortable on the road. Yeah. Go off-road, my goodness, you turn to Bambi like immediately. And it made me realise that I really wasn't very good at riding and I had a lot to learn. And that's where I started to properly focus in on the slow riding, the clutch control, the balance, the things that are the foundation for everything else. And finding the green lanes back then was an OS map and random apps that aren't great. So I'm so excited by the TRF's new database and mapping system to make it easy to find them and also know when they're open or not open and when you can ride them. Absolutely incredible resource.
Yeah, but it shows where you can go with it.
Yeah.
You go down a little lane and the next thing you're in the middle of the desert in Saudi Arabia or somewhere. And it can feel
that
like
escalated.
That. Yeah. But have you ever noticed in life, it can be like that when you're here now, because you go, crikey, it was only yesterday I was in the garage with the KTM going, should we go? I don't know, it's raining.
Wasn't long ago I was in a hospital bed either.
Yeah. So this is good.
Got a lot of gratitude for the fact that my body can do it.
Yeah. It was lovely to talk to you, Vanessa. Good luck for everything that's coming.
Thank you.
And keep up the good work. Eh?
Thank you.
So, thank you guys. And really, this is hopefully the last bit. And we say ciao.
Ciao.
And we'll try and do some more stuff for the TRF soon.